Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the Coach and Coach podcast. We are back and we are ready, man. We got a lot to talk about. Before we get there, we go again, Coach. Why you don't warn me to turn this stuff down, man? This happens
I'm
every
trying to make
single
sure I don't have no technical difficulties over here.
It happens every time. So let me do this again. Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the Coach and Coach podcast. I am your defensive coordinator. I'm the man to make sure that not too many points are scored on us. Sometimes they do slide through, but I'm trying to put together like a Count City defense and make sure you don't score no points. I am your defensive coordinator. I am Coach Marks, that guy right beside me. He is our offensive coordinator. He is the extraordinaire. He is the man that puts the points on the board. And if we don't score, don't look at me because I kept him out of the end zone. It's his job to get him to the end zone as Coach Benji. Coach, how's it going, man? You just sent me a picture a while ago that I did not like, and I'm glad I ain't got to do this year. You are hanging up Christmas lights.
I've been under the weather since we got back from the mountains. It's been a cold 2 weeks. Let me tell you. Like I came home expecting to escape the cold, and it was cold all week last week. So I'm just now getting around to it. We were gone Thanksgiving week, and then didn't feel good. But I tell you what, like you can ask my wife Carrie. I'm all about some Christmas. So I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed standing out there looking at them after it was all done. And we're not even done. We're going to get more tomorrow. So we're just going to keep adding on. I love it, though. It's my favorite time of year.
Coach, man, I'm proud of you because I'm glad our house is still being in the 14th month of remodeling, and hopefully eventually we'll get back in there, but I don't have to do that this year. I was telling you earlier before we got on, my wife put up a Christmas tree that stayed up all the way to March. So I guess we celebrated Dr. King Day, and we celebrated it was the Valentine tree, and
There
it
you
was
go.
St. Patrick Day tree because I wasn't taking it down, but that tree stayed up a long time. Well, Coach, man, the playoffs are set. But we do want to dive into those championship games first before we get in. And man, it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to unpack. And obviously, so there are some unhappy people and some unhappy teams.
Yeah. We can be excited that we've got to this point that there is a playoff, but certainly I understand the frustration and I think it's warranted. So we can get into all that. I didn't expect. We kind of teased what we thought would happen in the Notre Dame Miami situation the other night when we talked, and other than that, I wasn't very surprised of who got left out in the end.
And I kind of
Where teams fail. It wasn't a whole lot of surprises, but I definitely understand the frustration that some fan bases have, and you know if we'll have an entire off season. We may could touch on it tonight, but we'll have an entire off season to discuss some things. We can talk about if we became the college football commissioner, what our playoff would look like. And I've got some. I can tell
oh
you
yeah,
right now who
oh
would
yeah,
not be getting an invite.
oh yeah. But chat, I promise you, man, we're gonna hit all of y'all questions, and hopefully we're gonna answer them as we go. But let's talk about the championship games on Friday and last night. I You had JMU winning their championship game, beating Troy 31-14. You had Tulane winning their championship, beating North Texas 34-21. Texas Tech did what we thought Texas Tech was going to do. They blew
Yeah,
out BYU again,
yeah,
and I think that merits what happens to them. What happened to them? Georgia dominated Alabama, and Coach, here is my thing, and we're going to get into that once we go there. But Coach, Alabama in their last three games, I can't count the Eastern Illinois,
well, they're 2-2 over the last four.
and not only that, but they didn't look good. They
Uh,
didn't look good. Auburn should have won the game. Oklahoma went to Alabama and beat them. But it is what it is. With that name, I guess that's what Lane was talking about. It's that name. If you got that name, you're gonna get more leeway. But then we're gonna see that a name also didn't get in. But we'll get in there in just a second. Indiana, coach, I'm believing your sauce now, man. You told me way back in week 4 or 5 that Indiana was legit. And I just thought you were just talking again. I just thought you were just being the old coach again and just saying something. But coach, I'm starting to believe in Indiana.
yeah, I've kind of thought that I haven't just been like, hey, I knew that it was going to be a tight game. Like I know there's not a lot of difference in Ohio State, Indiana, but from about week 4 on, I was like, I just need to see this game. I just need to see this game because I just got a feeling. And sure enough,
Man,
Indiana pulls it off. Ohio State clearly has some red zone issues and uh,
defensively,
all that
man.
money, and couldn't get a field goal kicker to kick one through.
Hold on, coach. Wait a minute. There was a coach that said though you got to go to a certain place because that certain name on there will merit you, is going to give you a championship. You got to go there in order to win these type of games. I don't think last I heard, I don't believe Indiana is a football school. I've heard them a lot in basketball. The great Bobby Knight and all of that, and Isaiah Thomas went to Indiana, but I've never heard Indiana being that bell cow football school. So what happened? I thought that you had to go to the school because that name on the side of your helmet is what's going to win these type of games. What happened to that?
Well, shout out to Kurt Signetti for bucking that trend, and uh, you know, recruiting matters. You have to go do it. So
Think you taking a shot?
You have to be willing to go to the last hour with some people. You gotta, you can't give up.
So,
And
coach, you telling me
I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying something.
you telling me that with all the allure of Penn State and the whiteout and how big Penn State is, man, you can't win in Indiana. We can only go so far. We can only go so far. We won't win a Big Ten championship. You can only go so far. So Signetti should have went to Penn State because it's different there.
Yeah. I mean, I can't comment back to that. So.
It's different there, It's different at Penn State than it is at Indiana. It sure is. Indiana's in the playoff and Penn State ain't. But that sounds familiar. But let's move on. There's another team that's in the playoff, and the other one ain't either. But that's neither here nor there. Coach, I stayed up, and I watched the Duke and Virginia game. Got
God
so
bless you.
pissed off on that last drive when Duke allowed Virginia to just run down the field. First of all, I think the biggest mistake that they made was when the running back didn't get out of when he got out of bounds. When he should have went down and he just kept trying to stretch it. I said, crap, they don't have to use a timeout. So Virginia did get the ball back with 2 timeouts, so they drove all the way down, tied the ball game. But Duke just ran the ball down their throat. There was not a time during the game. I watched the entirety of the game. There's not a time in the game where Duke was ever in danger of losing the lead. They controlled that game the whole game.
I thought that even Tony Elliott kind of coached it to, I guess, to lose it because that's what he did. But I thought there was a couple times in how many fourth downs did not go their way? And one of them was like a situation where you take points, you get it to a 7-point game,
Yeah.
and then you just, momentum's kind of shifted. You might force Duke to say, well, hey, should we go try to score right here, not run some clock or do this or that? And, it didn't work out for him. I told people throughout that game, I was texting some buddies like, shoot, if this is the matchup, if Virginia pulls this one off, Keywan Lacey might run for 400 yards on this Virginia defense.
Yeah, it was amazing that Duke pulled that off. And then in the overtime when Virginia got the ball, did one of the dumbest plays on an opening. It's not like it's 1st and 25. Yes, they got moved back to the 40 because of a bonehead play, but it's not like it's 1st and 25. And they ran a trick play. Like, why? Run your offense. Your college football playoff life is on the line, and you're running trick plays?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that.
Kind of makes you wonder, like if I'm running trick plays in overtime, I don't believe I really got a shot to beat Duke anyway.
Which is crazy.
And if you're not going to beat 7-5 Duke, you're clearly not going to the college football playoff. And
which is clear.
That's how it worked out. So
the playoffs were set this morning, and coach, it's time. Let's talk about it. Let's start with the matchups. And then we'll talk about, once we talk about the matchups, let's talk about who didn't get in. and what's their argument, and if their argument is legitimate. You got number 12, James Madison, going to Oregon to play the Oregon Ducks. You got number 11 returning. You got number 11 Tulane returning to Ole Miss to play them for the second time at Ole Miss. And Coach, I sure hope our plug get it done for us, because I saw them tickets, man.
Yeah, get it done.
They are crazy, man. So,
yeah.
Hey, plug, get it done, man. You got number 10 Miami going to the 12th man to take on the Aggies of Texas A&M. You got number 9 Alabama having to go to Oklahoma this time to take on the Sooners. This time they get them at home. You got the winner out of James Madison and Oregon will take on Texas Tech. The winner out of Ole Miss and Tulane will take on Georgia. The winner out of Miami and A&M will take on Ohio State. And the winner, let me give you the bowl games on that. You got the Cotton Bowl will be Ohio State versus the A&M and Miami winner. I think that's if A&M win, that's a home game for them. That's back-to-back home games.
Yeah, they'll figure out how to get into that AT&T Stadium.
Oh, sure. Shoot, they will pack the house. The Orange Bowl will be Texas Tech versus the winner out of Oregon and James Madison. The Rose Bowl will be Indiana versus the winner of Oklahoma and Alabama. And the Sugar Bowl will be Georgia versus the winner out of Ole Miss and Tulane. Coach, Notre Dame didn't get in. BYU didn't get in. Texas is belly aching right now. Vanderbilt didn't get in. Coach, what is it? What? Hey, tell me what you think about what the committee did. Were they right? Were they wrong? Or shoot it to us, Coach.
I think they were. It's weird because I can make the case for both Notre Dame and Miami. I can make a case for both of them. I think they got it right when it come down to the final spot and a head-to-head matters. I will say that. Now, where I think they got it wrong, and I think the only reason why they did this was so they would have something to talk about on this Selection Sunday, was they should have done this a week ago. Both Notre Dame's season was done, Miami's season was done.
Yeah.
The only reason why they didn't, and I get it, their argument would be, well, if BYU would have beat Texas Tech, we were going to throw Notre Dame out. Miami would have stayed out. BYU would have been in.
Coach, I didn't think, you know what? This is why I don't think they didn't have an answer for that. Because I don't think they anticipated Alabama, first of all, losing like they did.
Yeah.
And in order to justify Alabama being in the playoffs, because that's all I've heard on Alabama's, their body of work should be the only thing that matter right now. Their past should be, even though their last 3 to 4 games, competitive game against real opponents, were not good at all. They lost to Oklahoma. They struggled against Auburn at Auburn, and then they got blew out in the SEC championship game.
But they're always going to go back, and I will too, because the committee's going to view your wins at the time. Like Ole Miss has a win over number 4 LSU. That's how the committee views it. And if you go back to the last week of September, they beat number 5 Georgia, and then they beat a ranked Vanderbilt, a ranked Missouri, and a ranked Tennessee. And I think those were all top 15 wins. And that's what's bailed them out.
But you know what? That's how Miami got in. Because if you let Alabama in, you cannot ignore that Miami beat Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You couldn't ignore it.
And I think that's what it was coming down to all along.
That's why I don't think they had an ideal. I believe if Alabama wins, Notre Dame is in. But because in order to justify putting Alabama in this, you gotta acknowledge that Miami whenever they beat them, it doesn't matter, because you just made a point that when we beat LSU, they was number 4. It doesn't matter where they ended up. So it doesn't matter what happened after or how close the game was. Fix your schedule. Quit playing tough games in the beginning of the season. Don't do that no more. Notre Dame, that's your fault because you're not in a conference. So you got to play these games.
Oh, yeah. Think about it, which I know that, if Notre Dame was in the ACC, they would have probably had one conference loss to Miami. They would have been the ACC champion, and James Madison would be out right now if Notre Dame belonged to a conference. But here's what I'm saying is I think the committee pretty much, or not, well, they pretty much told you. Hunter Yurchek told you a week ago when he didn't say yes or no, but he had this crap eating look on his grin on his face, and he pretty much said like nothing's final till it's final. When asked about Notre Dame Miami, I think Notre Dame Miami got close enough together in the rankings that they had to view the head to head thing. They were going to have to answer for that,
Yeah.
and I think that it was just gonna work out that way. I think they knew a week ago that if BYU did not win, they were going to make this flip flop. And I think they, I get they wanted every data point put in. We could have told you. I mean, when was the last show? Thursday night, Wednesday,
Yeah.
and I said BYU's losing to Texas Tech by more than 2 scores. So you could have went ahead, had this all figured out, and we'd have known it a week ago. The thing with Alabama, they couldn't leave Alabama out because if they did, conference championship games are over. There wouldn't be another one played.
It should be over anyway because BYU can scream that same thing. BYU can say the same thing.
Oh yeah, well I mean,
we lost the conference championship game, and we're not in the playoffs.
Well, BYU
had a body of work.
BYU's argument, doesn't stand as strong because they weren't in the playoff to begin with. They were the first team out last week, and they finished the first team out. So, but if I understand the argument.
Virginia, they can't have an argument.
Well, they were ranked outside the playoff.
No, they was ranked number 11. They was in the playoffs.
No, they were 8. They were 18 on the last week. I'm pretty sure.
I thought they was at that 11 slot. Well,
the only way you're going to make conference championship games matter again, and like I said, we'll have all off season to paint our perfect playoff. But once we expand this thing, because that's one of my buddies, I was in a group message with guys that I played golf with. They were like, I think Alabama should fall out. And I just text back and I said, if Bama wins, they're expanding the playoff. If Bama loses, they're expanding the playoff. That's coming one way or the other.
I just think the way Bama lost was important. I do believe the way you lose is important in a conference. Either do away with the conference championship, just do away with it, or it need to matter.
I mean, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I just think if they would have kicked them out for losing it, the TV networks were sitting there like, hey, guys, y'all cannot let this happen. We cannot lose these games for revenue. Because if they would have left Bama out, if Bama would have been in for not going to a college, because if Bama doesn't play yesterday, they're not having that. Like Oklahoma's at 8. Oklahoma didn't play yesterday. They're going to be 8 or whatever. The same thing with Alabama. They were, 9? If they didn't play yesterday, they were going to be 9. So what you're saying is like, so this team played an extra game that nobody else played, lost that game, got kicked out. Greg Sankey would have said, well, guess what? We're not playing an SEC championship game anymore.
It don't need to be one anyway if it ain't going to matter.
Well, there is, if you would do the playoff right, like what I think they'll end up doing, these conference championship games to make them matter again, is you say, all right, these playoff games or these conference championship games are going to give the winners a chance to get a bye. The losers, if you lose the game, you'll get the home playoff game. And then it falls from there to match up.
And that's what need to –
And don't let the group of 6 have a spot, period.
Because speaking of that, before we get into Texas and Vandy and everything else.
And I agree with you, Bayou Brothers. I think that – and if I was Notre Dame, this would be the first time that I'm like, hey, we might ought to think about joining a conference.
They don't have to.
Because if they were in the ACC, they would be in because they would have probably won the ACC. They would have had one loss to Miami, went to the conference championship game, and blew the doors off Duke or whoever.
They would have been in. And here's my thing. Here's my thing on this. You got James Madison going all the way to Oregon to play Oregon. You got Tulane, who it's a lot that's going to play into this Tulane Ole Miss game. And let me unpack it for you real quick. If Tulane comes to Ole Miss and get blowed out again, because theoretically, both of those games should end in a 2-3. When they put the line out, the line should be at least 2 touchdowns on both.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
And if that happens, then you got to look at why are we not putting because your plan makes more sense if we're not going to be at 24 right now. Why are we not putting the 12 best teams in here?
Because they've got this rule that's like we're going to take the 5 highest ranked conference champions. There's only 4 power conferences, so you're going to have at least one group of 5. And now you've got in this situation where the ACC just decided to totally crap the bed. So now you get 2 of them because Oregon's going to run James, and I like James Madison. I think they're a good team.
Man,
but if they played their own group of 6 college football playoff, they could probably win their own group of 6 national championship. But we're gonna sit down. Is that game on Friday? Or is that the 11 a.m. game? Whenever that game's played, we're going to watch Oregon boat race James Madison.
That's a Saturday night at 6:30.
That's the Saturday night game. Wow.
This was crazy.
Must see TV.
James Madison. The power, like not the power, but the group of 5 conference champion. But when we go up to the Power 5, we say the conference don't matter. We're being so because it ain't us. We got a solution. They're being so hypocritical in how they're doing this and basically saying, Tulane, you won the conference championship, you're in. Y'all lost, don't worry about it because this championship don't matter. And then you get this mess right here. Well, not all. If the games play out like they're supposed to play out, Ole Miss and Oregon just gonna say thank you, committee.
Yep,
thank you. Thank you for handing us this.
They're clearly gonna, the teams are gonna prepare, but they could probably have analysts in the back already looking at the next matchup, get the game plans ready.
Yeah, because if Ole Miss played,
I'm talking about right now, not like usually you're gonna move on to the next opponent. The analysts in the background, they're going to move on once you have your game plan ready and you pass it off to the staff to go implement for the playoff game. Ole Miss, but they'll probably be Oregon and Ole Miss will probably be working in the background on the next opponent during the prep for the current matchup.
Trey, I wanted 5. I wanted to be over there with Texas Tech. I wanted to be over there away from Georgia because
I did a lot of research and not just for Ole Miss purposes, but for other games as well. I thought we might see some manipulation. And I guess if there's anything you can say, at least the committee didn't manipulate things. I thought Ole Miss was going to be the 5 because they didn't want to see a rematch because you just set up a rematch with Tulane and Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you'd probably get there eventually anyway if things keep playing out. But I thought they would move up just to see a different game because that would have gave Oregon would have got to play Tulane and then Georgia, and then Ole Miss would have played James Madison and then Texas Tech, and you wouldn't have seen a lot of rematch stuff. But
I think what hurt Georgia in their rankings is that Ohio State didn't win that championship. If Ohio State wins that championship, Georgia splits them. But because Indiana won, Ohio State has been the de facto best team in the nation all year long. They wasn't going to drop them below 2.
I don't know if they'd dropped Indiana. They might have dropped them one spot.
I thought Georgia would.
That was a really competitive game.
I still feel like Georgia would have split them if Ohio State would have won that game.
You're probably right.
And the way that they beat Alabama, was just woodshedish. So now you got teams like Texas. I read one of their beat writers today talk on their losses compared to Alabama's losses. And Vandy ain't really saying much, but they got an argument too.
Yeah. Vandy's problem was that their schedule, kind of how I felt about Ole Miss all year. If Ole Miss wouldn't have beat Oklahoma, I think you would have seen Ole Miss got dropped to a spot where they would have been in the same situation as Vandy trying to climb back in. And then you have teams jumping you because Miami's sitting there with a win over a team inside the top, whatever,
But Coach,
I thought it was kind of the same. I thought the schedule kind of led to the situation that Vandy's in. Because if you look at their resume,
we said they had to split They need to at least split the Georgia and the Oklahoma game. And
Oh,
then
they
they
had to.
had
It
the
was a
Georgia game
must.
all the way to the end. And then it put so much pressure on the Oklahoma game. And here's what's crazy. When you had a coach that ain't 100% all the way with you, for them to even get through what they got through with a leader who's not even 100% with you is amazing. Now it's more, I think it leaked. I think the committee found out that Lane wasn't 100% with Ole Miss. His mind was everywhere else. And for that team to still did what they have to do. Now the Washington State scene, it makes sense now. For the team to do what they got to do to get the wins that they had to get, it's more impressive than what we know.
Yeah, they did what they. I mean that win over Oklahoma just looks like after you see what they went on and done after
Man,
that. I mean they had Oklahoma had to run the table and did, so credit to them because they
yeah,
couldn't afford another loss.
because we thought, going to the Alabama, you're done.
Yeah,
And they got the job done, and they are in the playoffs. So you got teams that's just upset. And like I said, until we move into the 24,
well,
I
and
still
I think that moving to a 9-game conference schedule is going to eliminate some of this stuff too because like you're going to see there's an argument about Texas A&M. There was this argument about them. The reason why they didn't get in over Ole Miss was because Texas A&M didn't play a team from the top half of the league. I think the Texas was the highest finishing SEC team on their schedule, SEC schedule, and you go into like the tiebreaker stuff that was going down in Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas A&M hadn't played each other. And I
yeah.
think when you get this extra game, some of this schedule stuff, period's gonna, you're gonna have because that's another thing too. Like we're punishing teams in a conference championship game that the only reason why they got there was via a tiebreaker. Like
Yeah.
it's not like they were really supposed to be there. So there's just so many arguments about are we going to punish a team for losing this game because there's just so much nuance and stuff around it. If that makes sense.
Man, it's just a problem. It's just a big problem right now that man, there is no easy solution. The only thing I hate is we'll wait this thing out another year. Changes that need to be made. Now, if I'm Tulane and if I'm James Madison, I'm ticked off that I got to go on the road. I won my conference championship. This is
Yeah.
where you need to 24 because I should be able, from winning my conference championship, I should be hosting somebody. I should be hosting somebody else. I won my championship, and from your thank you to me is to go hit the road and go all the way to Eugene, Oregon, and play Oregon.
This is just where we'll always disagree. I think if you're not in a power conference, you shouldn't be in this playoff anyway. So
But if they
that's
gonna
just my
put them
take.
in, if they gonna put them in, then we gotta do something. And like I said, I don't like the 12 right now. I don't like 11 and 12 because when you look at it, man, I'm looking at A&M and like, okay, thank you, we get Miami. Oklahoma's sitting there looking like, oh, thank you, we get Alabama, and Ole Miss get Tulane, Oregon get James Madison. So
Yeah.
I can see how everybody could be like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But
I
hey,
mean,
it's better than 4. So all of those that thought Ole Miss wasn't going to get in because coaching staff left and Florida State lost their quarterback and didn't get in and blah, 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 and blue. You got to start looking at the era that you're in. You can't keep on trying to compare. You can't keep comparing apples to oranges. You can't. We tried to tell y'all didn't want to listen to us. So the committee told it for us.
well, the committee didn't have a data point to punish Ole Miss. Like I'm telling you, the rule states that you can be punished if you have the data point. We saw what Florida State looked like in 2023 without their
Mm-hmm.
quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
so they got dinged for it. And I still believe that in a 12-team playoff, they would not have thrown because what was Florida State at that time? Number 3.
Yeah.
And they dropped down to 5, or were they 2 or 3 and dropped down to 5?
I think it was 3-5. They dropped.
They weren't going to throw them all the way down to 11. They would have got in. But we lived in it was a different world.
Yeah. It was
three
four. It
seasons
was
ago.
4 teams, and
Yep.
and if we having this much trouble with 12, man, just imagine how crazy. I don't even. And it's been so long ago. Well, it ain't been that long ago. It ain't. It's been what, 2 years ago? Because we went to 12 last year.
Yeah, this is the second season of the 12
So
team playoff.
so right now the big issue is all of these teams are opting out of the bowls. They're not playing in the bowl.
Yeah, I saw
The
that.
bowl season dead or
Is bowl
deceased.
season dead?
Sorry, TikTok,
It's
deceased,
looking like it.
unalived.
Yeah.
Because the Mississippi State have just been invited to, which I thought was a joke. I didn't know there was a Mayo Bowl for real.
Yeah. Jeff
I
Levy
thought you was joking, Coach.
he'll get mayo dumped on his head if they win the game. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's in Charlotte. Is that where they play that one out? I think.
I don't want no part of that. But you know, Duke's Mayo Bowl. I thought that was a joke. So
Yeah, I hadn't like we said earlier, I started working on Christmas lights and stuff outside, so I hadn't seen
I
all the
started when I
I
got
hadn't
here.
seen the bowl releases.
But you have a number: Arizona State, Kansas State, Notre Dame, teams that's listed so far that said that they're not playing in any bowls this
Say
season.
Iowa State opted out too.
So now you add Iowa State to that. So when you got all these teams, this is
That's
where
what
I
I
brought
thought
up.
it's in the Panther Stadium. That's what I thought.
Okay, well that bowl matches their stadium, uh, and their team. But this is the thing that I was saying a couple of weeks ago, a couple of games ago, that I felt like in order to keep the relevance of the bowl games, that if you go to the 24 team, then boom, you got a list of bowls now that counts as playoff game. These teams are finna stop playing in these bowl games. You're not gonna have good quality games.
Yeah, you're not going to have anybody to play in them. Enough players sit out. You're not playing.
So now you got
Uh,
teams opting out. You got players opting out. It's either playoffs. It's almost like, all right, in basketball, this is where you're gonna have to find, like you said, a group of 5 playoff, because you got the NCAA and you got the NIT. And what's crazy is that the NIT is significant enough that teams do want to play in it. And when teams get to the championship, they got a big enough breakout for it. I mean, they go to Madison Square Garden, they play the NIT Final Four, that it is legit. So if you don't make the NCAA, you don't see teams saying, well, I'm not going to the NIT. But if you're not making a playoff now, you got teams saying, well, I don't want to go to the bowl.
well, that's why a lot of these. And shout out to which I don't. I think one reason why you're seeing this is because a lot of we're in the first year of rev share, so no one wanted to touch that money till this portal and recruiting season hits.
Mm-hmm.
So they paid all these players, all these schools paid a significant amount of their cap, salary, whatever you want to call it, to the players during August, whatever, whenever they join the squad, whatever the date is, that don't matter. But they've been paid. In the past, you saw, like, think about Ole Miss last year playing in they playing the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl? Was that what it was? And you didn't have opt outs was because a lot of the roster for that was backloaded, so that for them to get the money, they had to play the entire season. Well, now these rosters have all been paid off because they wanted all of this money with RevShare NIL for this current recruiting cycle. So I think that is some of the reason you're seeing some of this.
Coach, you got to be a diehard football fan, or you have to be, taking nothing from Mississippi State, because I tell State, Southern Miss, y'all take y'all bowl games. That money, that's still revenue. That's still money. You take that money to help build your program. You take that money for facilities and everything. You take that money. But, outside of them, nobody is sitting there like, ooh, the bowl season coming up.
No. I mean,
and nobody.
I'm sure there's programs out there that are somewhat
but if
excited
we do,
to go.
like you said, you got a group of 5 playoff, and they have their own championship, and then you got the Power 4 Conference National Championship.
Yeah.
unless we're going to expand it. Because one thing about it, you don't see too many upsets. This is not basketball to where you get that number 16 seed upset number 1 or number 15 upsetting 2. That don't happen too much in football.
No.
That's not going to happen too much in football. You're not going to see too many 15s beating 2. You're not going to see too many 16s beating 1. So, in order to, Division 2 got their own playoffs. You got the historical black colleges. They have their own national championship and playoffs. To where the Heritage Bowls, it is celebrated. Jackson State won a national championship. Regardless of if we want to acknowledge it or not, they won a national championship last year because they won the Heritage Bowl. Now, some people be like, well, that ain't for real, but it'd be the same people that will honor the junior college national championship. They ain't playing everybody.
Right.
But if you go and win and you're ranked high enough and you go play in the playoffs and you get a semifinal game, you get a championship game, and we will acknowledge the JUCO national championship. But you got some that don't want to acknowledge the SWAC championship, but it is a national championship. My bad, Celebration Bowl. My bad. Thank you for correcting me. I didn't get that right. But so if they were smart enough to say, hey, we're not going to get acknowledged anyway. Or if we do get in, they're going to put us up against Ohio State in the first round. So we can go and get out the way. How about we get our own thing? And unless they're going to truly expand, I wish they would do this in basketball as well, because I hate when you get somebody like the year, I think this was when George Norris played at Valley. They was the number 16 seed and had to play the number 1 seed. Like, you did all that work to get there only to get boosted out.
Here's your reward. Go play Kansas, Duke, somebody like that.
Why not have something for them to celebrate?
And and I've said it. How many times have I said this exact sentence I'm about to say when we've talked about having a group of 6 playoff, group of 5, whatever we want to call them? We're all going to sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
The TV networks are going to generate revenue off of it. And now you're just going to generate an extra X amount of $1 million to be distributed among these group of 5 teams. So now teams like, say, Southern Miss had a great year this year. Could they have got in as a 12 seed in their own playoff and just got X amount of money that they are not getting? And besides they're going to get whatever the bowl contract is.
They get $300,000 off of the playoff because James Madison gonna get in because they got shared revenue just like the other conferences.
And Jonathan says, he sees in a few years the SEC and Big Ten will leave the NCAA to make their own division. And I'm telling you, there are panels behind closed doors talking about options for that. I think that's closer than a lot of people want to admit.
That is why you got all of those teams in California that's in the Big Ten. That's why you about to get some ACC teams in the SEC.
I think last night
they're prepping for it.
And I think last night was just another step in the absolute fall of the ACC.
Yeah. The ACC is going to end up being, in football, is going to end up being like the Pac-12.
Yeah.
2 or 3 teams.
Yep.
But if you do that, and like I said, think about it. You wasn't finna get me to watch North Dakota State in a bowl game. But when you pop up semifinal to playoff, well, dang, let me check this out.
Yeah.
Let me check this out. And then you start looking at players like, man, these guys are legit. But I never saw it.
And then if you want to do this and slap some corporation on every game to keep those guys happy, who are getting their name out on TV for however many hours as the whatever bowl, and you want to slap their name on this round of the college football playoffs is brought to you by so and so. Yeah, I'm not advertising anybody for free. Y'all want y'all's name said, I'll pay us, and we'll say whatever. But
this playoff game brought to you by Coach and Coach Podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we will. I'm down. We'll do it.
Oh, now
I ain't got nothing to give, but
we're gonna send you $25. And you better share it amongst all your players. We ain't got no money. Y'all ain't sharing our stuff. Y'all ain't tapping the screen. We ain't got no money. I don't know, Coach, how we still on air? These people don't love us, man. They don't love us, Coach. They been lying to us. They don't love us.
Yeah, we're doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right, let me go to some of the chats on Facebook. You got stupid Roman Moore talking about they had 11 players. I don't want to hear no excuses, Roman. Yeah, you go with the
I had
excuses.
11 starters out.
Oh my God, here we go with that. Here we go there. Now Adam Gordon had enough because hey, he's a diehard Notre Dame. He done had enough of us talking about Notre Dame need to get in the conference. And Adam, hey, I'm with you. The only reason Notre Dame is not in these playoffs is because they had to explain why Alabama is in. Because they knew Miami was going to bring up the head-to-head. If Alabama would have won that SEC championship, I'm 100% sure that Notre Dame would have been in. So I'm with you, Adam. I'm with you. Even though I was mad that they were still ranked number 2 in the nation when they was 0-2, but still. But Coach, man, I'm telling you, this is I wish. And how long are we in this current format? Because we just got into this format, and they're not just gonna, do away with it right now. How long are we in this format? This current format.
Contract's up this year, ain't it?
Is it? So they only ran a
so.
2-year
deal?
They
ran a 2-year deal, I think.
So we will be seeing the field of 24 very, very soon.
Yeah. Because I think they're going to skip straight past 16.
They got to, Coach. There are
let's be real. There's so many,
too many teams, man.
Well, but there's so many other issues with college football that need to be fixed. Like, why are we, we're so dead set on, we got to expand right now. Why?
This is the easy one. This is the easy fix. Because if you expand, it's almost like, okay, cousin Billy Jack is on drugs. Instead of us sending him to rehab, let's just give him some more money. All they're gonna do is go buy some more drugs. That's how the NCAA feels. This is how they do when they think they're gonna fix a problem. We got all these other issues. Let's just expand the playoffs. Everybody will be happy, and we ain't gonna talk about the calendar.
Oh, yeah, we'll have so many podcasts throughout the summer talking about it that we will just ignore the fact.
It will be one of them.
We have free agency in the middle of our playoffs. We have the draft is before the playoffs even start. We'll just ignore that completely for a whole year, and we'll have plenty to talk about.
Yeah. So I just let's just expand the playoffs. We're not worried about fixing nothing right now because we are making millions and billions. We what is it? Dr. Evil, billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Whoever's running the NCAA is Dr. Evil with his bald head, with his hand in his mouth, saying I'm making billions because they are making billions. They are making a whole lot of money. You think the NIL and these kids are making money? Man, I wish you go check their bank account. You will be surprised. They making a lot. So, so now that we ain't got to this point, Coach, I do want to segue to this, man, and I want your opinion. Why you think that the scheduled appearance of a coach did not happen on College Game Day?
Oh, Coach, he had to shore up his contract with his defensive coordinator. And,
that's what it was.
And finish the paperwork on some recruits was my understanding.
Okay.
I think that's completely accurate.
I get it, man. And because he's not a liar. He's not going to lie. That's not the type of person he is. He don't.
Nah, man. He did not tell one lie. He never said he was staying.
Man of integrity, and he don't do that. So I'm glad that they were able to handle that, and I'm glad he got that done. And I'm pretty sure that the ESPN CAA network will be okay.
Stop, Coach. There's no narrative there.
Yeah, because they got on TV and said it. Yeah, that's what. Pat
McAfee didn't press, dude. Pat McAfee pressed Kirk on his field goal kick. He's holding for the guest field goal kick from the student field goal kick, and he pressed Kirk on it. I was like, whoa, dude, come on now.
But Pat McAfee don't care.
Yeah, he don't.
He don't care.
He's
I don't know what type
y'all
of
money.
client he is.
This show would be done if I wasn't on it.
I'm with you because everybody else is just following suit. He's just gonna go against the grain, but I don't think that's what it was. I just think, like you just said, they had to get some stuff tightened because it's different down there. You just can't leave. You got to
Oh
get stuff
yeah.
done because he put that on there that it's just different down there. So you can't. You got to be able to do that
I
stuff.
guess they sent him the interview questions too, and once he realized it wasn't like little softballs, he's like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Well,
He's like, "I've got this
I don't think
contract
that's
stuff
what
to
it is,
handle."
Coach. He's not that type of person. He is a model citizen. He does all the right things, and that's why he's finna go to LSU. He's finna win a national championship tomorrow. He's gonna get a statue before Christmas, and we're gonna be boohooing and crying because we lost him, and that's how the world see everything should be rolling right now. So let's just go with that narrative, okay? I am a CAA client.
Sounds good. You got the hush money's in the mail, so I ain't saying another word.
It's Cash App. Cash App it to me. I told him don't. I tell him go ahead and give me the money now, and just put a shh. You know that emoji where it's like that. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go there. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. But man, I'm telling you, this is going to be an interesting playoff season. Man, I can't wait to see how it all play out. But coach, man, we I was in Stark. I was in man, that stadium. Oh my gosh. I don't know how state fans do it, but I was in Starkville on Thursday, and some championship. They Mississippi had their championship games this week, and man, there were some shockers, Coach.
It's some good games.
Oh
Like,
man, Coach, I'm going to start with the Calhoun City and Simmons game. Coach, when I say one of the best defensive games that I've ever saw in a state championship, and looking at the scores, there were a lot of games like that, but I'm just telling you what I saw. I
yeah,
remember when Ray Brooks, and I forgot who they beat. I remember them Ray Brooks being at the 7-yard line, and they was in the wishbone. And I told my mama was telling me they're gonna have to throw, and I said, "Watch! I bet they don't throw one time. They're gonna march down the field in the wishbone," and that's what they did. But coach, this was the best. This was one of the most. The defense was there. When I say Calhoun City opened up, they threw a pick six, and the following possession they threw another interception. I said, "Yep, that's it. It's over with. It's too many mistakes." But this was the stat that got me, Coach. They were Hollindale Simmons were inside the 10 5 times, and some people the numbers might be off by one, but it ain't by a lot. They was inside the 27 times total. Coach, you know how many points they got off of that?
I mean, not a point.
They did not. Calhoun City's defense and Coach Jennings, I interviewed him after the game, and Coach thought I was gonna punk out, Coach. He said, "No, I thought we couldn't stop the run." I told my son, "Turn the camera on. We gonna talk about it. One thing about it, I don't back down. I'm gonna talk about what I said. If I said you couldn't stop the run, I'm gonna hold up to it." But
Hey,
he called
now,
me out, Coach.
he can't say that about me. I said, like, in week 2 of the high school season, I was like, y'all can crown him. So I don't know what he's coming after me for.
Coach, he called me out. He said, "Coach,
You specifically?
No. He said, Coach and Coach, me and you are a team. If they talk
Nah.
about me, they
gonna
talk
have to go.
about you."
He's got to go back, download everything back all the
I'm
way.
finna go erase it.
September.
I'm erasing it. It's gone. Coach, don't even go on there. It's gone. You said it right. Coach and Coach said it. And Coach, when he said it, I told my son, "Turn the camera back on." He ain't finna talk. I said, "We gonna talk about it." But Coach, the game came down, and I said whoever could pass the ball first is gonna win. I didn't think, and this is something I had to go to it, Coach. Coach, when you look at Calhoun City team, they got, let's see, I counted 7 significant players that won the state championship in powerlifting last year. Well, they team did. And it showed in that fourth quarter. Simmons could not bring number 5, Pittman, down. He drugged players. That's what happened when you're squatting 400. I'm a power lifter. I know. When you squatting like a grown man, they're going to take some grown men to bring you down. And they couldn't bring them down. And Calhoun City went out. After they scored that, they missed the 2-point conversion. Then Simmons, and now you got to understand, Calhoun City, they turned over the ball 3 times on interceptions. They fumbled a punt, and then they shanked the punt for about, I think it ended up being like a 6-yard punt, and did not give up a point on defense. One of the greatest defensive, but it wasn't. But that night wasn't. Brookhaven told number 1 West Point, "Come here. I heard what they saying about you. They said you're bad, and they said you were this and that." And Brookhaven said, "Come here," and they took. Now I'm gonna tell you something. These are words I didn't think I would ever put together. Brookhaven took West Point to the woodshed and beat them 31-19. And coach, it wasn't close.
Yeah. I
Amazing. I was
think
shocked.
one group chat text me was like, "Are y'all watching this?" And I'm gonna tell you, I hate the NFHS stuff. I miss when you could go like pull the rabbit ears out and get
Yeah.
your PBS channel
They got
and
to
you
make
can
their
watch
money.
it. Got to make their money. So I just tuned in and out. I was like, I'm not paying for the subscription, but
Well, coach, I pay for it because it's how I scout during the season. Keep me from hitting on the road. I go find my team that I got to play on the NFHS.
gotcha.
Hey,
But
it's worth. I think about that. Pay that $9-11 a month, or go spend $15-20 on gas and concession stand. I don't
I got a
do
text that
concession stand reviews
I
like
got a yeah. I guess I need to get geared up for basketball season. I got to get that back going.
Oh man,
My engagement's been down.
and we are going to talk about something on that before we get off. But you had Brookhaven beating West Point. Well, then on the next night, coach, you had another defensive struggle. Columbia beats Kosciuszko 6-0. I don't know
Yeah.
whether to be excited or mad over that.
Yeah. I saw
As a fan, you just been like, but as if you're Columbia, and then if you're Kosciuszko, you'd be like 6-0. We lost the North half one year 6-0, so I know how that feels. Warren Central, they called Brookhaven and said, "How did y'all do that woodshed stuff?" And Brookhaven told them. They said, "Oh, that's how you do it." They said, "Hattiesburg, come here," and Hattiesburg came running over there. And before you know it, it was 56-34. They put the man. They whammy bammied them. Warren Central beat Hattiesburg 56-34, and then on Saturday, you had Raleigh defeating Noxubee County. The South the North just didn't do good this year. I don't know
and
what.
after I thought like if you like based on what a lot of people thought, the North would have had a good year, but it didn't turn out that way.
You had Raleigh beating Noxubee County 12-6. To me, the biggest upset was East Webster beating Heidelberg 28-16.
Yeah.
Shout
out East Webster.
I was shocked. I would have, if I was a betting man, I would have lost my whole check on that one. Because there's no way I would have took Heidelberg. I wouldn't have took East Webster over Heidelberg. So shout out to East Webster, man. Y'all got it done. But the heartbreaker of the night, the last game of the night.
Yeah.
Last game of the night. Coach, it is 20-14 with just a few seconds on the clock. And Gulfport backs up and just launches the ball into the end zone. And a whole bunch of bodies, Tupelo and Gulfport, all their bodies just went up. They was trying. And then when it came down, Gulfport had the ball. And they beat Tupelo on a Hail Mary. Coach, you played a lot of football. And in your first 2 years, you lost a lot of games. But your last 2 years, you won a lot of games. Do you recall any loss that was just so surprising that it just you didn't know how to? And I think you kind of got, you know what? I know there's a moment that's similar to that I think you went through. But do you recall a loss? Because on my coaching career, I don't think I've ever lost a game of significance on the buzzer. I don't think.
Not in that type of situation. Now as a player, yeah, twice. Yeah, had 2 situations.
Is the North half one of them?
Yeah, and then the other one's the Water Valley game, the field goal, the triple doink field goal.
Yeah.
which had
But
no
I
bearing
think,
on our outcome. It was a non-division game, but that would have been. I think that would have put us at like 4-0, and I mean we would have been rolling at that point in the season.
I think that UPOR had such a significant. It was the last play. I never saw a ball float so long, and I was just
With
sitting there.
nobody under it.
I was like, please fall, and you just see this player from UPOR just comes out of nowhere. And then when he scooped it, I'm looking at the referee. Please say no. Where's the instant replay? And so to lose a game that way, man, that had to, whew, that had to hurt. That had to hurt. So shout out to Gulfport, East Webster, Raleigh. Shout out to Warren Central, Columbia. Shout out to Brookhaven, Old Brook, and shout out to Calhoun City, your state champions in Mississippi on this year. Um, Thursday night, Coach. Um, Something amazing happened at Ole Miss that didn't have nothing to do with Lane Kiffin. Thursday night, the Ole Miss women hosted Notre Dame. Now, a lot of people will look at that and say, well, Ole Miss is ranked higher than Notre Dame, so how can you really see it as a big game? Well, you got to understand. Ever since Coach Yo been at Ole Miss, and her first 2 years were kind of rough. The second year she didn't win a game in the SEC, and the last 4 seasons, Coach Yo has done something that only Van Chancellor has done at Ole Miss: have consecutive 4 or more consecutive seasons with 20 wins. I think Van Chancellor did it 11 times in a row. I think out of the 16 years he coached, I think 13 of those years he had 20 wins. No other coach have more than one 20-win season. Is it time? Because you don't hear a lot of people talk about her. We talk about every men coach we bring in and how great they are and this and that and the other. But she has very quietly, in an era where women's basketball is tough and for real, where women's basketball is legit. You don't just have Louisiana Tech, or you don't just have Tennessee, or you just don't have UConn. Man, even in our conference. Now, if you want to talk about tough conference, LSU, South Carolina, Texas, Kentucky, Tennessee is climbing their way back. The SEC, all these other women's teams don't have to deal with what Ole Miss and the teams in the SEC has to deal with. And they did something on Thursday night, which I think was the most significant win outside of playoffs or anything else that they had at that stadium. Because I was there when we took South Carolina to overtime. I think that was Aaliyah Boston was there. We had Shakira Austin in, and we took them to overtime. Should have won the game, and it ended up going in overtime, and South Carolina ended up winning the game. But for them to overcome an 18-point lead, it looked like you got the flu or something. Y'all pray for Coach. He coughing and all of that stuff. I don't think his immune system can handle all the changes. You see how he just got up? You see how he do me, chat? He just got up, didn't say excuse me or nothing. At least he put his mic on mute though. But I guess I'll talk to y'all because he done left me. I guess we got talking about basketball. He don't like basketball. He just left me by myself. But I do want to talk about what Coach Yo is doing at Ole Miss and what she has accomplished, and she's done something. He's back. He's back. Coach, I told the chat to pray for you. You were struggling.
Man, I had to get a sip of water or something. Been talking for a while.
You had your water with you, man.
Yeah, I made a big mistake.
You were struggling, Coach, but the chat prayed for you, and we got you back in the system.
Thank y'all. I needed it.
See, chat. You see how y'all see. We got to get more people in the chat. Y'all got to get more people in the chat. We got to get more people on our shows. Y'all gotta hit that subscribe button, man. Y'all gotta hit that follow button. Get us up, cause we ain't even at 1,000 yet, man. What are we waiting on, chat?
Yeah.
What are y'all waiting on?
Go ahead and smash the follow.
Look at that show and then hit that follow button and then go tell 12 other people to follow us. Man, we need people to talk to. Tired talking to Coach. He don't listen to me sometimes.
Yeah, I
He just
wasn't
walked
listening
off.
then. I
You see
wasn't
how he just
listening
walked
then.
off? I got to talking about basketball, and he got up. Like,
Nobody wanted to hear my end of it. I hit mute and everything, and I was like, "Well, now they can just see me over here dying. So let me get up and go for a second."
but what we were saying, coach, is that what Coach Yo have done uh, is amazing at Ole Miss, and like I said, she done had 4 straight 20-win seasons, something that hadn't been done by no other coach but Van Chancellor. And what she do in recruiting is top notch. I mean, she hits that portal like no other. And they all come in, and no matter where they come from, they're going to buy into defense. She sells that defense, and they buy into the defense. And he's coughing again. You see how you do when we talk about basketball? Y'all see that, chat? Did y'all see? TikTok can't see you, but Facebook can see y'all. If y'all go watch the coach, go to my face, go to my Facebook. No, you don't. No, you don't. Sorry, TikTok. I was just playing. But he's back. He's back.
I'm hoping that I'm at the end. I've been dealing with this since for about 2 weeks. I hope I'm getting to the end of it. So,
Well, that's just like my wife.
but
My
no,
wife.
seriously, I've never been like a huge college basketball guy. I've always followed the pros, and then I'd say over the last 4 or 5 seasons, the women's NCAA tournament's just been super interesting. So
I think better than
I
the men.
think it's very entertaining, and so I've enjoyed Coach Yo. I hope that there's not. I hope she don't ever think there's some seat she's done reached the ceiling and she's got to move on. I hope
Coach, her
she's a
shirt
rebel.
say no. She don't have no ceiling. Her
Exactly.
whole
So
motto is no ceiling. Coach O, if
yeah,
you can hear me right now, I'm promoting you. No ceiling. Somebody go tell her. Somebody get her on the chat. Let her know that we talking good about her.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
if you haven't been to an Ole Miss women game, you better get there because we're getting to that point. We're getting to that point to where she is going to be, and no, the Ole Miss girls is going to be somebody that people are going to talk about. So I'm very proud of what she has done, how she has done it, and how she pushes her players. I mean, she's the type of coach that's able to hold her players accountable yet be relatable to her players.
it's that having that defensive mentality.
Oh, you got, and I love that because everybody want to shoot. It takes a special type of person want to play defense.
Yep.
Well, coach, man, as been 2 weeks is a long time from now, man. We got to find some other stuff to talk about next week.
Hey, we'll get it figured out. We
Oh,
can do a breakdown of every game. We got
I'm
all kind
pretty
of stuff.
sure. I'm pretty sure that there's a coach south of us is going to do something stupid, and we're going to have plenty to talk about. I guarantee you. Man, hey, keep on being yourself, buddy, and give us some content because I guarantee he's going to do something. He's going to say something crazy. But, hey, Coach, this is what I want to break up before we get off. The public drilled LeBron James for saying that he couldn't win, and saying he had to join up with Coach. First of all, you can throw that SIP shirt away. That represents something else. You got to go back to.
Ah, man, we're from Mississippi. What you talking about?
No, we changing that.
Yeah, that's why I bought it because I was like, well, all this stuff will be on sale soon because they're about to rebrand the whole program. Better grab this gear while you can get it.
Spot the ball, man. I love that. Pete Golden is the type of coach, man. That's I'm just I get because he looked crazy because I look crazy, and I guess crazy attracts crazy because I was that type of coach. I was just crazy. None of my stuff made sense. I hope his stuff makes sense, but as a coach, I don't think none of my stuff made sense. Like the time, let me tell you about Coach Chat. Coach had me signaling his offense. This man had me stressed out for nights and days because all of the crazy stuff that he had me doing, that I was in class trying to memorize all of the things that I'm supposed to do to call this man plays. I'm sitting here thinking if I call the wrong thing, this going to look like my fault because he in the press box. So guess who the people going to see? Stupid Coach Mark, that's the wrong play. I didn't call it. It's that man behind me that's behind y'all that's calling it. Coach, I think you did that on purpose.
Yeah, that's why you're in the press box. Ain't nobody paying attention to you when you're up there.
So it looked like it was my fault that that stuff wasn't working, man. And you had me signaling in plays, and I was stressed out. So I like Pete Golden. I like what's going on at Ole Miss. But it's hard for me not to like Ole Miss. But crap. I liked Orgeron when he was there. They let you know how crazy I was. I did like Orgeron. I was never only two coaches that I just wasn't sold on, and it was Houston Nutt and it was Lane Kiffin. So them the only two coaches that I just wasn't really fond of. I did like Ogeron. I just he just wasn't a good coach at the time. But he eventually he eventually, and this is what people don't understand. Sometimes being a good coach ain't about your X's and O's. It's how you getting the right people in the right places. And he got it right at LSU. He got the right people in the right places, and he won a national championship.
He absolutely did that.
And they went and got the right quarterback. So, you know, good coaching ain't always about X's and O's. You just got to have the right people because you can be a great offensive mind, a great defensive mind, and still don't get nothing. Do y'all remember Charlie Weiss as a head coach? Great offensive mind. Do y'all remember Romeo Crennel as a head coach? Great defensive mind, but that don't equate to being a good head coach. So that's one thing that I hope fan bases understand, that being a good coach is not about the X's and O's. It's about the people that you put around your players and getting the most out of your players, because you're trying to get the most out of those players, and it's only one way to do that. You got to have coaches that can get that done. So I truly hope we got that in order. Well, Coach, man, this have been a good one today and tonight rather, and you need to go get you some NyQuil or some Dayquil.
I was about to say, Coach, I might just hand it off to you
or get some what I said, NyQuil, Dayquil, Daybreak Quill. I don't know what you need to take, but you need to go take something. You need to sanitize your mic.
Yeah.
Well, we are the Coach and Coach podcast. Make sure that if you missed the live, shame on you. Shame on you. What I need you to do, I need you to go to Spotify. I need you to go to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. Click on that subscribe button and go ahead and set your alert so you won't miss an episode. So that way when you miss, and even if you saw the live, you might have came in too late. We might have said something that you wanted to hear and somebody told you about it. Go ahead and click on that link. Click on the link. What am I saying? Go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Make sure that you're following the Coach and Coach podcast. TikTok, make sure you're following us. We're trying to get to 1,000 before the week out, and we're going to be calling on you to help us get it done. So let's get us to 1,000 followers. Facebook, we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody that came on. It is playoff season. It's almost football games are meaning something in the NFL, and it's almost Christmas in the NBA. So we are locked and loaded, and we're ready to go. Coach, anything else to hold our attention?
I got nothing.
Let's make sure you pray for Coach so he can get healed. We'll see you on the next one. We are the Coach and Coach podcast. See ya.